I'm Tom Silva, and welcome back to this old house.
Today we're installing a steel beam that weighs about 1,000 pounds, and there's only one way to move it. We're going to pick it with that crane.
And then we'll be setting insulated concrete forms for our new addition.
This wall comes down and our little kitchen gets huge. But before we demolish our kitchen, we're going to have a closer look at what life was like living here 70 years ago. Last week, this was holding up the back of our house. It is a 12-inch thick section of our concrete foundation. And we actually cut it away using a 30-inch diamond tip blade. And then a bunch of us pushed it until all 3 tons of the wall came down in a single piece. What we're left with, well, is a 16-foot opening here along the back of the house. And this is going to make way for a new family room. Now, the house right now is being held up by this 2x6 wall, but it goes away eventually. So we've got to find something that is strong enough to carry the house and to span the 16-foot opening.
All right, what I got here is a steel I-beam, and it's actually a W10 by 49.
Which means what?
Well, it's a wide flange, 10-inch high steel beam, and each foot of this beam weighs 49 pounds.
So that tells us something about its strength?
That tells you the strength, and that also tells me that they sent me the right beam that the engineered spec.
All right, so we got a steel beam, but you got wood on either side.
Right, well, we had to pad this beam with some 2x. We ripped them down to fit inside the web here, and we through bolted them with carriage bolts. This allows us to put hangers on so we can make the connection between the steel beam and our wood structure of our house.
Well, we got a tight site and really no way to get a truck out back, so you've got a crane to what, fly this over the house?
Fly it over the house. Let's get it up and over.
Let's fly it.
Now, there's actually a rope attached to the end of the beam. That's called a tug line. And Bob is actually guiding the beam away from the wires above the steel I-beam. So as Mike lifts it, Bob then turns the beam away from the wires.
Keep coming. Keep coming. Nice and easy, because it'll overswing. Okay, let's cable down. Give me 10 feet of the whack.
All right, so Dan's got his hands on, what do you call that, a tug line?
That's a tug line. He can control the beam so it doesn't hit the house.
All right, let's cable down. All right, Mike, give me 6 feet down, please. Cable down. Crawl it.
Now, what we've done is we've cut away this 4x8 sill that ran all the way across the back of the building here that actually carried all of the ends of these joists that went up and over.
So you cut back the joists too?
Right, we had to cut the joist straight all the way across to allow for the beam. Now there's a stud right here. Well, we had to cut all of these studs along the back of the wall that came down to that sill also.
So you basically cut away all the material, leaving a pocket for this beam, and we still have the shoulders right here of this concrete wall. Did you take this inch off right here?
Yeah, we shaved it down on each side because of the steel beam height.
All right, so the beam can't come right into the hole. You've got some temporary walls to set it on?
Right, this is a temporary 2x6 wall that we've bolted to the concrete foundation. It's good and strong. We actually put these 2 pieces of steel on top to let the beam slide easier because it won't slide on the wood.
Now that's good thinking. You've done this before.
And once or twice.
All right, smart.
All right, cable down like 3 feet. Slow.
Okay, Bob, bring it down. Keep it coming. Keep it down easy. Keep coming. Dan, how much room do you have on the end there? Can we buy the sill? Can we get it in? Keep me down, Bob.
About 6 inches.
All right, now push the beam in just a little bit. All right, now how's it look there? Make sure you get your end in. Dan, you get enough room? Push the beam in as we go, down under the wall, push it in. All right, get the weight off. I just want to adjust this strap. Keep it coming down.
Keep coming. Cable down.
All right, good. We can undo the strap. All right, now I got to pull this through.
Cable up.
Everybody ready? On 3. 1, 2, 3. Push it.
Oh, yes.
Okay, it's in. Now all you have to do is hang the joist on the beam.
Nice. So for that connection, Tom, that's where this wood comes in.
Right, and we padded the beam on both sides. The reason we padded it on both sides is we have an addition going on this side, and we have to hang our floor joist on this beam. we're going to use these hangers right here. They're called joist hangers, and these are designed for 2x10s or 2x12s.
So new joists on this side, but on the inside we've got the existing floor joist. It's pretty snug here, but these still have to be hung.
Right, so we're going to slide this metal hanger right over the joist like that, okay? Now the first thing I want to do is I want to hit that little tab into the side of the I-beam. Now the tab holds the hanger against the beam, so now I can nail it. I'm going to nail it using this hanger gun. Now if you notice, the nails are sticking out at the end. That allows me to line the nail up with the hole in the hanger and fire away. Now that I've got the hanger fastened to the beam, I want a toenail into the side of the bracket right here, into the joist, into the beam.
All right, so you want me to start setting the rest of the hangers?
Let's get with it.
Okay, Tommy, I think that is the last of them.
We're all hung. And now with the steel beam in place, we can get started on the addition.
Now this is progress. I love it.
I do too.
When we first came to our house, there was not much to look at. The first thing your eye would go to would be this boxy garage. Now to fix that, we're going to put a gabled roof on the whole structure, so that'll improve that. The other thing we noticed was that you could barely find the front door. It was dark, it was painted black, and it was hidden behind some large bushes. So to improve that situation, we're going to put a little addition on. It'll be a foyer. It will also have a gable roof, so that'll match up with the garage. Now, of course, before we can build it, we need a foundation, and we're using insulated concrete forms. We're no stranger to ICFs. We first used them in the early 1990s, and we used this system on our last project with Bill Gaines. Hi, Bill.
Hey, Norm, how are you?
So this looks a little bit different than last time.
This is a little different than last year in Newton. Last year was a white product. This year is gray. We've added graphite to the foam, which actually boosts the R value and makes it a little easier on the eyes on a bright day.
All right, but other than that, I mean, it's basically the same system. You've got insulation on the inside and the outside, and then you have these plastic ties that hold it all together and provide support for the rebar.
That's right.
Now this is a small addition on this side of the house, but we have a much bigger one going on out back. At the back of the house, we're using the form system not only to pour the foundation below grade, but to create walls for the new room. There'll actually be a slab right about here eventually. So on this side, there'll be a short wall underneath a bank of windows, which will run all the way over to this corner, turn the corner and run over to right about in here, where there'll be a narrow section of foundation, which is quite tall, then an opening for a door, and then another big section of foundation, right, Kent?
That's correct, Norm. We're going to take this wall and we're going to build it to the top of this existing foundation wall, and we'll make a match at the top.
Wow, so that's going to be 10, 12 feet high. We've never worked with this system at that height.
You haven't, but we're going to show you how to do it today. We build structures like this, 8, 10-story buildings out of these materials.
Really? That's great. Now, how does this form system compare in cost to a traditional form system?
Well, we're a little bit more initially, but what you get for that is a form system. We have a R27 insulation, and we have a built-in stud so we can attach sidings and finishes to the material.
Right, so unlike a traditional system where I'd have to stud it up and insulate it and put strapping on, that's all built in.
That's correct.
Well, you know, you started only a few hours ago, so it moves pretty quickly.
It does. We did start several hours ago. We're up 3 or 4 feet above grade.
Right. So I see here in the form the tie, and you've got the rebar sitting right on top of that.
That's correct, Norm. They do several things for us. They provide an attachment for the rebar to set into. They keep the forms at the correct distance.
Hold them together, yeah.
That's correct. And they also we have a web that's built in to attach finishes to.
Right, now I can't see that web. Any way you can show me what that looks like?
Sure. Every place you see X's, there's a stud inside that wall.
Okay, so on this piece you can see the X's, so they're easy to find.
They're easy to find. They're on 8-inch centers, an industry standard. And this is what they look like if you look on the inside. We've actually opened it up so you can see the stud where we attach things, and you can see the tie that makes it, and then you can see where we put the rebar.
All right, so this is all tied together, and it's about 1 inch wide, so you got plenty of room to attach just about any kind of material, both inside and outside.
That's correct.
Well, I better let you get back to it because concrete's coming in a couple hours, right?
Sure is.
All right.
Thanks.
2 weeks into our project, we have gotten rid of lead and asbestos. We've done demolition. We've even started rebuilding part of the house. But one room we have left virtually untouched. and that is the kitchen. And we did it because this space is a time capsule. And someone who's going to help us put this time capsule into perspective is Chris Kimball. Chris, on your show, America's Test Kitchen, you guys put kitchens and all of the equipment in them through their paces. So we're curious, what do you think of our little museum?
I remember this. For you, this is all new. For me, I actually grew up in a kitchen like this. This is 1940s, and we propped it. We actually brought back the kinds of things you'd have in a kitchen like this. And of course, I just
propped it.
I actually remember all this stuff.
Wow, that is great. So this is what it would have looked like back then.
This is what it was like, and this is the one connection, big connection to the past. This is about the future and the past. This would have been the equivalent of that work table in the center of a kitchen from the 19th century. Everything's by hand, no electric appliances. This is actually where you do the heavy lifting.
They really use these things, huh?
No. I used this in the 50s. This was called the Dover egg beater, invented in the 1880s. And I actually whipped egg whites to make cakes. I actually used one of these things for years. So
Man, you guys had it tough.
you think this is something weird. This is my past.
So that's the past, going back hundreds of years, actually. What about the future? Is there anything futuristic in here?
This is the 1940s. Let's say the war is over. All of a sudden you have the industry going crazy. First of all, primary colors. After the war, people want bright colors. They want primary colors. There's red and white. This is a sunshine yellow.
We won, after all, so why not?
Absolutely. And the other thing that's happening is you have American industry all of a sudden turning out a lot of convenience foods. Now that started after World War I, but it really picked up now. Quick oats, you know, bottled salad dressing, instant mashed potatoes, Nestle's Quick, etc. So all of a sudden, instead of just buying some simple things like meat, eggs, butter, all of a sudden you need a lot of storage, because you have a lot of stuff coming from industry. So you need, instead of just open shelving, which is what people had, let's say, in the early part of the century, now you have cabinetry, and you have a lot more cabinetry, a lot of overhead cabinetry to hold all your stuff.
Okay, I get that, but you talk about more and more. I think of this as a really small space. I mean, I can jump from one side to the other, no problem. This is a small kitchen,
It's
right?
a small kitchen, and the great thing about a small kitchen is you're 2 or 3 steps away from everything. It's refrigerator, it's the sink, which has a nice window, it's sort of classical, you can look out.
Yeah.
The stove. So there is something good about small. Small is intimate, and it's very efficient.
What about some of the materials? This is Formica?
Well, Formica is very interesting. It was invented in 1912, and the term Formica means it's a replacement for mica. Mica was replaced by a resin. It was very hard, it could be molded, and it was used for lots of things, plates, dishes, bowls, but also countertops. So Formica is replacing mica.
Not just countertops, backsplashes and everything. Tell me about the stove, because when we got here, we saw this thing and we were just like, what is its story?
Well, this is where they spent the money. This would have been about $200 in 1940s dollars, which is a lot of money. And it looks very much, you know, sort of like the dashboard of a Studebaker from that time. It's a luxury item.
I mean, literally, you're telling me this is like a glove box on a car.
You got the maps in there. You're all set. I mean, it's got this great light, and people would actually prep food on top of here, so they needed the light. It also has a griddle underneath here. It has 2 ovens, one small, one larger. Now, this would have been the centerpiece of the kitchen, and this was, by the way, electric stoves really came in the 30s and 40s. This was fairly new for most people who were still using gas. So this would have been the future.
All right, so that's the future back then, or new back then. Let me take it to the new, okay? Let me tell you what we're going to do with this kitchen so that you can help us think it through. The first thing is we're going to make it a lot bigger. This wall is coming down, and the kitchen's now going to go from the window over that sink that you pointed out through this new space right here, and it's going to be immediately adjacent to a dining area right here. So not part of the kitchen, but directly connected. We've got the architect and the homeowner thinking it through. They put together a plan. Let me show you this, just to give you a sense as to where we are. The new sink will go basically where the old sink is. This wall is gone, and now here is our kitchen space with center island, stove, seating area, and some counter space on either side. My question to you is, what is it about the way we live today that causes us to have these huge kitchens, you know, by comparison? And also, what do you think of the plan?
Well, back in the 40s, you had a living room which nobody used. The dog wasn't allowed in there, right?
Yeah.
You had the dining room, which is very formal. That's all gone now. Everything's gone in the kitchen. It's the living room, it's the dining room, it's the kitchen, it's the parlor, it's everything.
So
people want more space.
Size.
But when you get bigger, the problem is you got more problems. A small kitchen, everything's right there. A bigger kitchen can be a good thing, but you got a lot more issues because things are not close anymore. You have a lot more decisions to make. So that's the first thing. The second thing is, where are people really going to sit here? I mean, is this a kitchen where people are going to come and this is the counter? Are they going to sit on stools?
Well, that's the plan. Sit right there while mom or dad are working right here, and you keep an eye on the kids, right?
Let me tell you what's going to happen. I've designed a few kitchens in my time. What's going to happen is the kitchen's done, Monday morning shows up, the kids come home from school, and where do they go? They're going to go right here to the dining room table, and they're going to sit down and throw their bags and their cookies and their milk, Because it's comfortable. They got chairs, right?
Kids these days.
Kids these days. So you just never know. Human behavior is unpredictable.
And they are only 5 feet apart, these seating areas.
I would bet that's going to go. Now, one other thing I noticed, I'm a really messy cook, right? I like a lot of open space. In fact, I have this large counter, but I don't have this. I don't have a stovetop cut right in the center.
A pretty good idea, though, because you could be cooking there and have the conversation with the kids here.
Yeah, but here's the problem. I like room to spread out. So all of a sudden you have a counter space that's this narrow because somebody's got their milk and cookies here or someone's cooking here. I got this much space. So all of a sudden you're taking this wonderful big space where I could spread out and make a mess, do the mise en place, whatever. And now, it was a French term. Now you put the stovetop in there and you've cut it up. So the question is, now you have little pieces of counters, or do you have one big counter? Just something else.
I got you. So you're being tough on us. But what you know about kitchens, and actually what you think about ours in particular, is important to us. So we're going to continue this conversation with you about kitchens and how we sort of get this all right. And so hopefully you will come back again and help us get this kitchen up to speed.
I've designed more horrible kitchens than anybody alive, so I have a lot of information for you.
All right, well then you're our man.
Thanks.
Come back and join us.
Pleasure.
Well, the concrete pump truck has arrived as well as the concrete, so we're going to be pouring in a few minutes. But we want to review what's happened since we were here last. All the forms have been set. This is going to be one big blank wall, which will be a great place for a widescreen TV because this is going to be the family room. Now, there's also an opening for a door to go out in the backyard. And there's a little bit of engineering going on here. To hold the cement, the concrete in place while it cures, they're using some I-joists, and they've created a frame, and they're holding the frame in place with some pieces of strapping, wood strapping on this side, and some metal strapping on this side, and that'll make sure nothing moves while the concrete cures. Here you start to see the window openings. There's going to be a nice bank of windows on this side and this side, really opening up the view. But if you think this is great, after this is all poured and set, a floor will be framed above, and a room with windows on all 3 sides will be built, giving them an amazing view. Now, there's also some other things we should look at to stabilize this form while it's poured. We've got these vertical strips which hold the forms in place. And you can plumb them by using these turnbuckles, these braces that turn to make it plumb, and they're secured at the bottom with a few screws right into this old slab. Now, the vertical pieces also hold these brackets which support planks, which makes it real easy to access the forms during the pour. And I think we're just about ready to go. Now, Jim is the operator of the pump truck, which is on the other side of the house, but he can control everything with a wireless remote control. He can move the hose into position, can call for the concrete, or shut it off, whatever we need. Now, what are we using for concrete today?
We're using a straight 3,000 PSI concrete mix with a 3/8 pea stone gravel, and we're going to pour between a 5 and a 6-inch slump. Now, we got a wall here that's about 11 feet tall, and we don't want to pour it all in one shot. We want to pour it about half full, then we'll go pour the lower section, and then we'll come back and pour this a little later and give it time to set up a little bit.
Now, it's important to vibrate to eliminate any voids or air pockets. Now we just trowel it flush to the top of the form. When we start framing the floor for the sunroom, we want to anchor it to the foundation, so we're going to use these 8-inch anchor bolts. They have a hook on them so they can't pull out of the concrete. We're going to leave about 1.5 inches showing so that it doesn't stick up above the sill. So Kent, how long before we can take off the braces?
We'll take them off tomorrow morning.
Okay, that's great. That means Tommy can start framing.
Certainly can.
Well, thanks to you and all the guys for a great job today.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
All right.
Because of a new federal law from the EPA, we are taking great care to contain and remove the lead from the outside of the house, but also on the inside because we're doing some demolition. And in fact, this kitchen is getting demolished. So Tommy, I've got to assume you found lead because I'm seeing plastic up everywhere.
I did, Kevin. Now, if I was doing a simple renovation job, like maybe changing the trim or removing that window, I could test with this kit right here. This will tell me if I have lead, but I can't use it on a plaster wall. I won't get the right reading.
So no plaster, but just on wood?
Right, but if I take it right here and I rub it on this window, it's red. Red means that there's lead.
So we've got lead there.
Right, but now we're taking this wall down, all right? I can't test for it. I have to bring someone in that is certified and can tell me if there's lead in this wall. This is John Pesci, and he's got a special tool.
All right, John, so let's hear about your special tool. What are you using?
This is an X-ray fluorescent analyzer, and it can see through 100 layers of paint on any substrate.
And you've done the work for us. You've tested this wall.
We've tested this wall and found out it contains more than the EPA allows. It contains 1.3 milligrams per square centimeter.
And what's the threshold that's allowed? If we go below, we don't have lead.
1.0 is the threshold.
So 1.0 we'd be good, but we're at 1.3. So we got lead in the walls. We've got some lead in the wood in the window.
Right.
Where do we go from here?
Well, let me show you what we have to do now.
So Tommy, same drill inside as out. We've got plastic on all the openings, plastic on the floor, and these very slimming white suits.
Yes, and we have booties for our shoes, gloves to protect our hands that have to be taped to our sleeves, hard hat to keep the lead dust out of our hair, and optional, I use this HEPA filter because we've sealed up all the doors and windows. We want to get some air circulating in here.
And with that, we are ready to start demolition?
We're ready to start. The first thing I want to do is remove all the loose parts of the cabinets, the drawers, the doors, and the countertop.
Hey, Tommy, are we ready to take this wall down?
Yeah, we can take this wall down. It's not a load-bearing wall.
You know that because?
Well, number one, the first thing I look at is the size of the studs, and these are 2x3s. Usually a load-bearing wall is a minimum of 2x4s. I also want to check the span of the ceiling joists to see where they're going to go on the other side of the dining room. They don't run all the way to the outside wall. They actually stop and rest on this steel beam right here. We opened up a hole right here in the ceiling. You can see that the joists run right over this 2x3 wall. So this wall can come down.
Let's take it out.
I'll tell you what, guys, this is no longer a kitchen from the 1940s.
No, but it is a big room.
And best of all, there's no more lead.
Hey, there's no more wall either.
All right, well, a little bit more demo, and then we got to start putting this house back together again. So until next time, I'm Kevin O'Connor
I'm Norm Abram.
And I'm Tom Silva.
for this old house. Hey, does a suit make you look fat?
I think it's your diet, it's those nachos you've been eating.